I've had enough. And that day, that was when I decided, I was like, I'm leaving Albania. Hi friends, welcome to today's video. As you can see from the title of this video, I'm going to be telling you why I left Albania. If you want to see some round the world travel, or if you want to get into... What is that? That was weird. Okay, back to the video. If you are new around here, my name is Dane Luca. I post weekly travel videos, currently on Tuesday and Friday. I am traveling around the world at the moment, so if you want to get some travel inspiration, or if you're just looking for some travel vlogs, go and hit subscribe down below. Now, I left Albania just over a week ago for the reasons that I'm going to be discussing in this video. And before we get into the nitty-gritty of why I actually left that country, I just want to preface this by saying this is not a do not go and visit Albania. I think Albania is a beautiful country. I had some really cool times there, which I'll tell you about at the end of the video because I want to end on a positive note. However, there were just a few experiences that impacted my trip to Albania negatively. And I will say I did spend 2.5 weeks there. Before I went there, I was like, I'm going to be there for 3 to 4 weeks. Unfortunately, because of the reasons that I'm about to tell you, I left early, but I do want to encourage you to still visit Albania because you may have a very different experience to what I had. And I had some amazing experiences, which I'll get onto at the end of this video because I want to end on a positive note. Let's get into the reasons to why I left Albania. The first thing that I want to talk about is hostels. Now, I've stayed in hostels all around the world. I've had good hostels, bad hostels, amazing hostels, and I feel like in Albania, for me, they are just not the one. I stayed in a few really cool hostels, didn't have any bad experiences, but there were 2 experiences that just really made me feel like I do not want to be in this country anymore. The main one happened in Hamara, where the hostel was just really dirty, the staff were really weird and not welcoming at all. And obviously as a traveler, you want to feel welcomed in the country you're going to. You know, I totally understand. I am a tourist, I'm visiting their country, they can act how they want. However, when you're paying to stay in an accommodation and you do not feel welcoming, you feel a bit creeped out, that just really does like impact your experience. It happened like twice in a row. Like I just didn't feel welcome in both those hostels and they weren't clean, and I just felt like I just can't wait to leave here. I feel like your travel experiences are like where you stay, what you do, who you hang around with, what you eat, where you sleep. And for me, the sleeping aspect of things, like I definitely would return to Albania again in the future. However, maybe I just wouldn't stay in hostels. I did stay in some hostels and had some really good experiences. Met some amazing people if you are watching this. Overall, the hostels in Albania just weren't for me. The next thing is food. Now, as someone that eats vegan, I found it difficult. I've been to 7 Balkan countries now, and I fully knew before I went, I was like, I'm not gonna have the same food that I have back home. I fully expect that. I know my diet's gonna be very basic and like limited. However, most nights I would have a pizza without cheese, like a vegetable pizza without cheese, and that is absolutely fine. I'm happy to eat that because I know that that is pretty much the only option other than like pasta. But I found when I would literally say, and I know that they make the pizzas fresh, they taste really good, but it was almost always a battle with the waiter when I would say, okay, can I have the vegetable pizza with no cheese? Why don't you want any cheese? I can't eat cheese. But cheese is so good, you should have cheese. Can I just have the pizza with no cheese? And it would literally go like this, like constantly. And it happened like 5 times. And I'm like, I just want to go to a restaurant and order a pizza without cheese and not have to like justify myself to a waiter. So that kind of bugged me. The next thing that I'm going to touch on is a bit sensitive, but I basically just felt like people were trying to rip me off. This is my experience, but I found that people in the northern part of Albania were a lot more friendlier. So I had the same scenario happen 3 times in one day. And for me, that was breaking point, and that was when I was like, do you know, I just need to leave this country. But I'm just gonna give you an example of what happened that day and why I just felt like people were trying to rip me off. So I was going from one town to another. I got on the bus the same time as a local man did, and he paid a set amount, so it was like 200 or something like that. And then I went to pay. We got on at the same point, we got off at the same point. The bus driver charged me 700, and I said, why did you charge him 200 but me 700? And he literally looked at me and he was like, for you, 700, you have to pay 700. And I said, well, he's paid 200. And he was like, for you, 700. And I was just like, do you know, I just want to get off this bus. I paid 700 and I was like, whatever. Anyway, when I got off the bus, it was probably a 10 to 15 minute walk to my accommodation, and it was torrential raining. It was raining so hard, and I never get taxis, but I was like, do you know what, I'm just gonna get a taxi. And I asked one taxi driver, can you take me to here? It was literally take maybe 3 or 4 minutes in the car, and he said 1,500 lek. Now that is not much money back in the UK. That's like 12, 13 pounds. But for the distance, that is crazy expensive. Like I could have literally gone to the top of the country and back down to the bottom for that price on a bus. So I said to him, I said, no, that's a lot of money. And I think maybe because he saw my suitcase, he just maybe assumed that I was a tourist. I didn't know any different. And I said, I've been here for like over 2 weeks. That's a lot of money. And he said, okay, 1,000. And I just said, look mate, no, it's fine. I just started walking. I was probably a 10-minute walk away from my accommodation, and then the rain was getting heavier and I was like pulling my suitcase, and I was like, right, no, I just need to get a taxi. Anything will do now. I've hitchhiked around the Balkans and people are so friendly. Like people just like want to help you. But on this day, people did not want to help me. I felt like people were trying to rip me off. So the third time, this man pulls over and he sees that I'm clearly like struggling with my case in the rain, pulling my suitcase on gravel. And he literally says to me, oh, I can help you. Like, where are you trying to get to? And I was like, oh, my accommodation is literally just up that road. It would have probably taken him like 2 minutes max to drop me off there. And he was like, I'll be your taxi, I'll take you there. And I was like, oh, okay. Like in my mind, I just sort of assumed that he would like just take me down the road or something, but I didn't mind paying him a little bit of money. And he said 1,000 lek. And I said, are you actually joking? I said, it's down the road. There's a bit of a hill, but it's down the road. And he was like, 1,000. And I was like, no. Like, I was like, I'm not paying that. So anyway, after this happened the third time, that I just felt like people are trying to rip me off, I was like, do you not Jeff this? I'm just gonna walk. So I was literally pulling my suitcase. I'm gonna insert a clip right now. Okay, I'm filming this moment right now because this is probably the worst travel day I've ever had. I left my hostel 6 hours ago. This was meant to be an hour-long journey, and it's absolutely torrential rain trying to find my hotel, and life sucks right now. Oh, wow. I'm gonna have to try and make over that with my suitcase. But you could see the situation was not good. I was pulling my suitcase, it was raining, and I was just like, I've had enough. And that day, that was when I decided, I was like, I'm leaving Albania. I've had enough. One thing I quickly want to touch on, again, touchy subject, Albania is so beautiful, but there is just rubbish everywhere. Like, I was sunbathing on some really beautiful beaches, and there would just be like piles of rubbish. Or one time in Skoda, I literally saw a kid empty a bag of rubbish into the river, and I was just like, what are you doing? So yeah, the last thing, as a traveler, this is like the most important thing. The public transport is absolutely horrendous. I found that there was just no clear schedule, there's no clear pricing of anything. Like I was literally told, at most towns I went to, you just wait here, like literally at the side of the road, there's no bus stop, and you just wait for the bus. Now that bus could come in half an hour, it could come in 1 hour, it could come in 2 hours, it could come in 3 hours, and if there's no room, the bus will just drive off. I'm not trying to say this is a bad thing or like offend Albanian culture. I'm purely just saying, as a traveler, it is just so frustrating. Like, and knowing where to stand. There was one day I remember I was told like 4 different places. Like I would literally be with my suitcase and then someone would be like, oh, you need to stand there for the bus. I would be standing there. 10 minutes later, someone comes up to me like, what are you doing? The bus stop is over there. Then I'd go over there, and then I'd go over there. And eventually these guys literally walked me to where the actual buses were. And I just thought, how is this taking me 4 attempts to find where I'm supposed to stand for the bus? So yeah, that is just my experience of Albania. I'm not saying these things to put you off going. I totally encourage you to go and travel Albania. I would say if it's in your budget, definitely rent a car, because the buses will take a very long time. It's very uncomfortable. And I've traveled all around the Balkans the last like 9-10 weeks on public transport, on buses, and I found the worst public transport was definitely in Albania. However, saying all of this, I did have some really amazing experiences. The first experience is probably in my top 5 all-time travel experiences, and my favorite day out of the last 9 weeks. Out of 7 countries I've gone to in the last 9 weeks, that day was my favorite, and that was the Valbona to Theth hike. Absolutely beautiful. The hospitality there that I had in the 2 guest houses were amazing. Like, nothing prepared me to see the Albanian Alps. I didn't even know about the Albanian Alps until I came to Albania. So that, for me, was an amazing experience. The other amazing experience that I will never forget is climbing down onto like a secret beach in Himalaya and taking a bike and going down the Albanian Riviera and stopping at all these beautiful little beaches, nice and quiet. I didn't have a horrible time, but those things that happened to me made me think differently about my Albania trip, and they just made me feel like I do not want to be here any longer. And you know, when I got to the next country, Macedonia, where I am right now, I felt so much happier. One thing that experience definitely taught me is you can survive challenging situations, and also you don't have to love every country that you go to. Now, I feel like, you know, I'm spending my money and my time to be in those places, and in my mind I'm like, I have to love it, and you know, I'm sharing this experience with you guys, and I don't want you guys to think, you know, Dane's had an amazing time in all these places because, you know, you see it in the videos. I want to show you my complete honest experience of all these countries I visit, because that's what I want to do. Like, you know, raw travel vlogs. If I'm not enjoying it, I'm going to tell you. If I had a bad experience, I'm going to tell you. But if I have a good experience, I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to show you. That is the reason that I made this video, because I don't want you clicking on my channel thinking travel is amazing in all these countries, because the reality of travel is sometimes you're going to not have some good experiences, and that is totally okay. Like I said, sometimes you're gonna love a country, sometimes you're not gonna love a country. I would like to think one day I'll go back to Albania, maybe with some friends. I'll definitely be hiring a car, but that's gonna be a long time yet. I've got a lot of other countries that I wanna go to first and prioritize. And I feel like I can give you these opinions and experiences. Like, I was there for like 2.5, nearly 3 weeks. I went to so many places, but I didn't vlog a lot of those places because I was just having such a crappy, frustrating time that I think pulling the camera out would have literally just like pushed me over the edge. And that's why I'm making this video now, because I want to tell you guys, you know, I had some really poor experiences in Albania, but I want to end it by saying, you know, majority of Albanian people that I met were lovely, they're friendly. I felt totally safe in that country. Heck, I even hitchhiked a few times, and I had some really beautiful experiences. So yeah, comment below if there are any countries that you have had, you know, poor experiences. Let me know down below. People don't talk about the bad experiences, they just show the good. And that's where I'm like, it's sort of like Instagram versus reality. Like, you can share nice, beautiful pictures by the beach, but it's like, what was actually going through your head at that time? Like, what had happened? Like, these pictures that I got from Hamara Beach, oh my God, I was staying in the most horrendous hostel I've ever stayed in my life. But looking at the pictures, it looks like I had an amazing time, which I did at that moment, but the few hours or like nights before that, it was not good. So I'm always gonna keep it real on this channel, just remember that. Yeah, if you wanna consider subscribing for some real travel vlogs, you can hit subscribe down below. You can also follow me on Instagram at DaneLuca for daily regular content. I hope this video has been useful and informative. I feel like if there's anyone else out there who's had, you know, poor experiences or is visiting Albania, hopefully you can get a flavor to, you know, what you can expect. So thank you so much for watching this video, guys, if you have got this far. And we will be back with the regular travel vlog on the next upload. So peace out and take care and enjoy. Bye.